Today we'll be talking about different models of instruction. And as teachers, it's important to use a model of instruction because as we do, we develop as teachers using those different models and using those different methods. It's good for us to see what works best for us, but it's also very much content based. So as we go along, we will find that it's better to work with certain content with a specific model. But then it's also good for students too because they students all learn differently, and so if we're using just one model of learning, we're not getting the most out of the other half of students or the other portion of the students. By mixing it up, we are allowing students to learn and show what they learn as we go. The four models that the text, the Educational Foundations text, wants us to key in on are the information processing, social, personal, and behavioral system. Now, the information processing, very much student based. That is all about the student finding a problem or being presented with a problem, and that student working through and finding a solution to that problem. The teacher is just a facilitator. The social learning system is the school or the district viewing the student population as like basically one learning unit, instead of just a collection of individuals trying to get an education or trying to learn. And I think this one's very interesting. And obviously, group projects are very important. And it's very much cooperative learning. The personal model is student based as well, but that is the student and the teacher coming together to figure out the best plan for their learning outcomes. And I really like the idea of this one because it puts the assessment both in the teacher's hands, also in the student's hands, so they can self-assess and alongside the teacher as well. And the last one, the behavioral system learning model, is more teacher-based. That's where you're going to get your lectures and your teacher-led group discussions. All of them have their place. Having a learning model shouldn't really impact the content of the lesson necessarily. Now, it might be important to use certain models for certain things. The example I always go to for sensitive or personal based content, it might be important to shift that center to the teacher so that the majority of the students can focus on what needs to be learned, and the less mature students will not have an opportunity or not have as great of an opportunity to derail a lesson or a class in those circumstances. And it's important to follow a model of instruction because it kind of creates a template for us to teach, essentially. And it needs to be thought of beforehand, like I said, because it depends on what content we're teaching, which students we're teaching. If the majority of a class responds really well to a lecture or a teacher-led discussion, you'll probably want to hit that more often than you would group projects, for example. So it's really important to think of these things ahead of time, and just have a plan as you go on, and be thinking of a model, which one you want to go with. And there are always several models out there. So it's not just these 4 that we're talking about here. I think these are the main ones, and the most used in the classroom. And of course, all the information I forgot to mention was cited out of the Educational Foundations text by Webb and Metha. So, thank you.